Welcome to the official podcast series by POTENZA, where innovation meets insight. In this series, we dive deep into the world of SAP, explore the power of robotic process automation, and unlock the true potential of data analytics. Whether you're a tech enthusiast, a business leader, or just curious about the digital transformation shaping our world, you're in the right place. Tune in, stay curious, and let's explore the future of enterprise technology together. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on YouTube for more powerful insights. Now, let's get into today's episode.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a really close look at something that's fundamentally reshaping how businesses operate: digital process automation, DPA.
Exactly. It's huge right now. I mean, everyone's under pressure to be faster, more efficient, find that competitive edge, right? And DPA is really stepping up as a transformative solution.
And we're tackling this by diving into a pretty comprehensive guide on DPA. Think of this as our main source for this chat, our goal, to unpack what this guide lays out, pull out the really crucial stuff, maybe find some surprising bits, and cut through the jargon so you can really grasp what DPA means.
Yeah, think of it as the next step beyond basic process management. It takes traditional automation ideas but injects intelligence and agility. It's really different. It's not just digitizing a task someone used to do.
It's about rethinking the whole flow.
Precisely. Rethinking the entire operation, yeah.
Okay, so let's jump right in. According to this guide, what is digital process automation? What's the core definition they give?
So the source defines DPA as basically a tech-driven approach. It combines sort of standard automation with more advanced digital tools. Think AI, machine learning, data analytics. The really key part is that it aims to create processes that aren't just automated, but are actually intelligent and potentially even self-managing.
Intelligent and self-managing.
Yeah.
Wow. That sounds like a massive jump from just, script moving data from A to B. What's the key difference the source points out between DPA and, let's say, older automation styles?
That's really where the power is. Traditional automation, like you said, often just mimics a human task digitally. DPA, the guide emphasizes, goes way deeper. It's about reimagining entire workflows.
Reimagining them how?
Well, it builds intelligent decision-making into the process itself. It uses real-time data streams, and it incorporates adaptive learning so the process can actually get smarter over time.
So the process itself learns. That's pretty fascinating.
It is. The goal isn't just automating one step. It's creating this comprehensive ecosystem, one that can handle really complex situations, deal with exceptions intelligently, and stay flexible when business needs change. The level of sophistication is just, much higher.
And why is this suddenly so critical for businesses now? What's driving this urgency?
Well, organizations are just facing enormous pressure, aren't they? For speed, for efficiency, often with tighter resources. The guide is pretty clear. DPA is becoming essential for operational excellence.
Right.
It highlights really significant, tangible benefits, things like finding cost savings you didn't even expect, boosting customer satisfaction quite dramatically, and building systems that can actually scale up as your business grows. No more hitting those capacity walls.
And it fundamentally changes what people spend their time doing, doesn't it?
Exactly. That's a key point from the source. DPA lets you shift your human talent away from those, repetitive, sometimes soul-crushing tasks.
Yep.
You free up your people, your most valuable asset, to focus on strategy, on value-added work. That's where innovation sparks, right? That's how you drive growth. Plus, the amount of data DPA generates gives you this incredible visibility into your operations that was often just missing before.
So it's definitely not just one single piece of tech. I think that's a common misunderstanding. This source breaks down different types of process automation under the DPA umbrella. And understanding these seems pretty crucial for picking the right approach for you.
Absolutely crucial. The guide does a really good job explaining the different layers, starting with what it calls the foundation.
Okay, which is robotic process automation, RPA. People have probably heard about software bots.
Right. RPA uses these software robots, or bots, to mimic how humans interact with digital systems. Think copying and pasting data, filling out forms online, clicking through applications. The guide says it really excels with tasks that are very rule-based using structured data.
So predictable stuff.
Exactly. And it's often a quick win because you usually don't need massive changes to your existing systems to get it running.
Like a digital helper just following very strict instructions on a computer screen.
Precisely. But its limitation, as the source points out, is that RPA on its own typically doesn't handle complex decision-making or coordinating lots of different systems smoothly. It's more task-focused.
Okay, that makes sense. Which brings us to the next level the guide talks about, business process automation, or BPA.
Yeah, BPA takes a much broader perspective. It's focused on automating entire end-to-end processes. It uses workflow management platforms to kind of orchestrate all the different steps, systems, and people involved.
So this sounds like it requires a more fundamental look at how things actually get done, not just automating a single step.
Often, yes. The source suggests BPA frequently involves redesigning those existing workflows to really get the maximum benefit. It's great for processes with lots of handoffs, approvals needed, or multiple decision points. It usually includes features like automated routing, task assignments, that kind of thing.
Okay, so RPA mimics tasks, BPA orchestrates workflows.
Yeah.
What's the next step up in evolution, according to the guide?
That would be intelligent process automation, or IPA. And this is where it gets really interesting, because IPA brings in artificial intelligence, machine learning, advanced analytics into the mix. So IPA systems can actually make intelligent decisions autonomously. They can learn from past outcomes, adapt their behavior, all without needing constant human hand-holding.
So it can deal with stuff that isn't perfectly neat and tidy, things that vary.
Exactly right. The guide really emphasizes that IPA shines when dealing with unstructured data. Think emails, documents, images. It can handle complex decisions and manage those tricky exceptions that used to always need a person to step in and use their judgment. It makes automating processes that were previously just too difficult or unreliable actually feasible.
And then there's the ultimate vision the source mentions, hyperautomation. What's that about?
Hyperautomation isn't really a single technology itself. It's more of a strategic approach. It's the coordinated use of multiple automation technologies. So RPA, AI, ML, process mining tools, you name it, with the goal of automating as many business processes as possible across the entire organization.
Wow, okay. So it's about weaving together an integrated web of automation everywhere.
That's the idea. The source calls it a comprehensive strategy aiming for, well, unprecedented levels of efficiency and business agility. Now, it does require significant organizational change and really careful planning, but the potential payoff is enormous.
The guide spends quite a bit of time on the actual benefits, the tangible results of DPA, which is obviously super important. Let's dig into those takeaways. First off, increased efficiency and productivity. Seems like the obvious one.
It's often the headliner, yeah, and the guide confirms it's a major benefit. Automated systems, they can work 24/7, right? Consistently. They don't get tired. They don't make fatigue-based errors.
And they just churn through the volume much faster.
Right. And one of the biggest efficiency boosts the source highlights is eliminating bottlenecks. Things like waiting ages for a manual approval, delays when data needs re-entering between systems, slow handoffs between departments. DPA can drastically cut those down. That shortens cycle times and improves your overall throughput.
Makes sense. Next benefit, improved accuracy and quality. It seems logical that bots are better at repetitive stuff, but the guide goes beyond just fewer typos, right?
Oh, yeah. It's not just about avoiding mistakes. Automation executes predefined rules perfectly every single time. So it virtually eliminates human error in those repetitive parts of a process.
Okay.
Plus, these systems often have built-in quality checks like data validation rules, and they create really clear audit trails, which adds this layer of quality control that's frankly hard to achieve consistently with manual work.
Cost savings is always a big motivator. What specific areas does the source mention there? Is it just about reducing headcount?
No, it's broader than that. Obviously, there can be direct savings from reallocating staff away from automatable tasks, but the guide also points strongly to lower operational costs. That comes from the increased efficiency, sure, but also from having significantly fewer errors. Fewer errors mean less costs spent on rework, less time resolving customer service issues caused by mistakes, maybe even avoiding fines from compliance slip-ups.
And there are longer-term financial upsides, too.
Absolutely. Think about it. Less money spent training people on routine tasks, potentially lower staff turnover in those roles because the work becomes more engaging, and critically, the ability to scale your business to grow without needing a proportional increase in staffing costs. That's huge for growth.
In today's world, you absolutely cannot ignore customer experience. How does DPA help there, according to the source?
This is a massive one. Customers directly benefit. They see faster response times because processes kick off instantly. They get more consistent service delivery because the automation performs predictably every time. And with 247 availability, A customer request submitted at midnight can actually start being processed right away.
Right. No more waiting until Monday morning for something to happen.
Exactly. And interestingly, with the intelligent data analysis that DPA enables, you can even start offering more personalized service. Customers get more accurate info when they ask, problems get solved faster because the underlying process is smooth, and their interactions across different channels, web, mobile, phone, can feel much more seamless.
Okay. And the last major benefit area mentioned is better data management and analysis.
Yeah.
Seems like a natural outcome.
It is, but the source really underscores its importance. Automated processes are fantastic data generators just by their nature. Every step, every decision, every outcome creates clean, structured data. This gives you incredibly rich insights for making informed strategic decisions. Like how to optimize processes even further, where best to allocate resources, really understanding performance trends in detail.
And because the data capture itself is automated and consistent, the quality of the data you feed into your analytics or BI tools is just much higher, right?
No, precisely. That old garbage in, garbage out problem. It's lessened when the input is automated and clean from the start. The guide also drops in a POTENZA pro tip here, which I thought was smart. Always remember to tailor your automation strategy to the specific regulatory and operational needs of your industry. It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all game.
Good point. So implementing DPA sounds like a pretty major strategic move, and the guide frames it that way. It's not just plugging in some software. What's the crucial first step it lays out?
Yeah, it starts squarely with assessment and identifying processes. You really need to take a hard, honest look at your current operations. The guide advises evaluating processes not just for, say, the easy wins, but for those that offer the highest potential return on investment and align with your bigger strategic goals.
So it's not just automating whatever feels most broken right now.
Not necessarily, no. You definitely look for things like high volume, repetitive tasks, areas with lots of manual data entry, processes that have to interact with multiple different systems, or those with really strict compliance rules. But importantly, the source adds you should also consider processes that are strategically vital, maybe customer-facing ones, even if the pure efficiency gain isn't the only driver. Sometimes improving a key customer interaction is worth more.
Okay, once you've figured out what to automate, you've got to choose how. Selecting the right tools and software seems absolutely critical. What does the guide say about that?
Yeah, this needs really careful thought. The source emphasizes looking at compatibility. How well will this new tool integrate with the systems you already have? That's huge. And also scalability, can it grow with you?
What are the key things the guide suggests you evaluate when looking at different vendors or platforms?
Well, things like ease of use. How intuitive is it? What's the likely implementation timeline? What are the ongoing maintenance needs? How good is the vendor support? And of course, the total cost of ownership that includes licensing, implementation services, training, maintenance, the whole package.
Right.
And there's a strong nudge towards choosing solutions that are flexible, that can adapt as your business changes. Often, the guide suggests, flexible cloud-based platforms might have an edge there.
That integration piece, connecting with existing systems, especially older legacy ones, that sounds like it could be a major headache.
Oh, it absolutely can be. And the guide is upfront about this being a key challenge. Getting integration right requires really meticulous planning. You need to map out all the data flows, understand all the system dependencies, figure out how the user interfaces will work together.
Sounds complex.
It can be, and you definitely need contingency plans for when things inevitably don't connect perfectly first time. But interestingly, the source also notes that sometimes just going through that integration process itself can uncover other opportunities for process optimization you hadn't even thought of before. So there can be unexpected upsides.
Tech is one part, but people are the other massive part. Training and change management must be absolutely essential.
Non-negotiable for success, according to the guide. Your employees need solid training on how to work with these new automated systems, and managers need to really understand the impact on their teams, on workflows, on roles.
And dealing with resistance, people worrying about their jobs.
That's paramount. The source advises tackling resistance head-on by clearly communicating the benefits, not just the company benefits, but what's in it for the individuals, showing how automation can make their jobs more interesting, less tedious.
Involving employees early, maybe in the design or testing, seems like a good way to get buy-in.
Absolutely. It really helps build ownership. And the guide stresses that training isn't just a one-time thing when you launch. It needs to be ongoing because systems evolve, processes get refined, and finally the source makes it crystal clear. DPA implementation isn't the end goal. It's not a project with a finish line.
Right, it's that continuous improvement journey.
Exactly. You have to set up clear ways to monitor performance tracking key metrics like processing times, error rates, the actual cost savings you're achieving, maybe even customer satisfaction scores linked to that process.
And use that data to tweak things.
Yes, constantly. Use the data to inform refinements, make enhancements. You have to stay flexible, ready to adapt to new business needs, new tech developments, shifts in the market. That's vital for getting long-term value.
And speaking of long-term success, here's another excellent Potenza pro tip from the guide. They strongly recommend setting up a cross-departmental steering team right from the very beginning.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This team helps monitor progress, ensures everyone's aligned across different silos, and manages expectations throughout the whole implementation process.
That's really practical advice. That kind of oversight can prevent a lot of problems down the road, keep everyone pulling in the same direction.
The guide is also refreshingly practical about addressing the common questions and the challenges people run into. It gives a really well-rounded view and circles back again to clarify that core difference. DPA having intelligence, learning capability, reimagining workflows versus just basic task automation.
And it neatly recaps those key benefits we talked through: efficiency, accuracy, cost reduction, better customer experience, and leveraging that data.
It also hammers home the essential ingredients for a successful strategy. Solid assessment, picking the right tools, nailing the integration, investing in training and change management, and that vital commitment to continuous improvement. And how it really improves operations, crushing bottlenecks, giving you visibility, helping allocate resources better, freeing up your team.
But yet, it doesn't gloss over the hurdles. The source definitely flags resistance to change as a big one. Pretty natural, I suppose.
And those integration headaches, especially with older, maybe clunky systems.
Definitely mentioned. The guide also points to things like insufficient upfront planning, not thinking it through enough, or inadequate training after you go live. Sometimes having unrealistic expectations about getting perfect results overnight. And a big one, neglecting that ongoing optimization piece, just setting it and forgetting it.
Which doesn't work.
No, these challenges aren't showstoppers, the guide says, but you absolutely need to plan for them and actively work to mitigate them.
There are also potential risks involved, right?
Yeah.
The source mentions a few, though it says they can be managed.
Yeah. Things like becoming overly reliant on automated systems without enough human oversight, potential security vulnerabilities if things aren't designed and implemented carefully, the risk of significant business disruption if a critical automated system fails unexpectedly.
And the job displacement concern is real for people.
It is, and the guide acknowledges that. Plus, ensuring you stay compliant with regulations within these automated processes. The key takeaway is that these risks need careful mitigation strategies built right into your DPA plan from the start.
And I found it really helpful that the guide tackles some common misconceptions about DPA head-on. Helps manage expectations.
Yeah, that's important. The guide makes it clear automation won't eliminate all jobs. It changes the nature of work. It's definitely not just for giant corporations. Businesses of many sizes can benefit significantly.
And
Critically, not every single process should or even can be automated effectively. You need to be selective. And maybe the most crucial points, results are not instant magic. And this is absolutely not a one-and-done project. It requires ongoing effort.
It seems pretty clear that underpinning a lot of this, especially the more advanced stuff like IPA and hyperautomation, is artificial intelligence. What does the source really say about AI's specific role here?
The guide positions AI as absolutely fundamental to advanced DPA. It's the engine that enables that intelligent decision-making we discussed earlier. It allows systems to process messy, unstructured data, to learn and improve performance over time without explicit reprogramming, to handle those tricky exceptions that require judgment, and even provide predictive analytics to help optimize future actions.
So AI is really what elevates DPA from just following rules to actually, well, thinking and adapting within the process.
Exactly. It fundamentally changes the game, raises the ceiling on what automation can achieve.
And looking ahead, what does the guide predict for the future of DPA? Where is this heading?
Well, the forecast includes even deeper and wider integration of AI and machine learning capabilities into DPA platforms, broader adoption of those comprehensive hyper-automation strategies across organizations, and expansion into automating even more complex, maybe even cognitive processes, things that currently rely heavily on human expertise and judgment.
Do they see it becoming easier for regular business users to get involved?
Yes, the source anticipates improved accessibility. Things like more intuitive, maybe even no-code or low-code user interfaces could potentially open up DPA development and management to people who aren't deep tech specialists. And it expects deeper integration with other emerging tech, like blockchain for secure transactions, IoT data streams feeding into processes, and even more sophisticated analytics platforms.
Okay, so stepping back from this deep dive into the guide, the core message that really comes through is that digital process automation isn't just an upgrade, it's a fundamental shift. It's about creating intelligent, adaptive, even self-managing workflows. And the goal is driving efficiency, accuracy, saving costs, and seriously improving the customer experience.
Absolutely. And the path to getting there, as the source clearly lays out, is strategic. It demands careful planning up front, selecting technology that genuinely fits your specific needs and context, really dedicating resources to managing the human side, the change management and training, and maintaining that crucial commitment to continuous optimization and learning.
It really feels like organizations that truly embrace this strategic view of DPA are setting themselves up for some pretty substantial, long-lasting advantages in today's competitive environment.
I think that's right. And as the technology itself keeps evolving so rapidly, the capabilities of DPA are only going to get more sophisticated and hopefully more accessible too. The critical thing now seems to be understanding the potential, planning smartly, and being willing to embark on that ongoing journey of improvement.
And that definitely leaves us with a really interesting thought, something for you, the listener, to maybe chew on as these intelligent processes become more and more woven into the fabric of our work. How will the human role evolve alongside these increasingly capable automated systems? What completely new skills or different areas of focus, or maybe even entirely new kinds of jobs might emerge for people as machines take over more of the routine, predictable tasks?
That's a wrap for today's episode of the POTENZA podcast series, where we decode SAP, automate with RPA, and analyze with precision. We hope you found today's conversation insightful and inspiring. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the technologies transforming tomorrow's enterprise. Got questions or ideas for a future episode? Drop them in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time. Thank you.